The giant crystal room of the Galactic Senate was bigger than 10 football fields put together. Kim Taeho stood in the center looking up at hundreds of alien faces staring down at him. Some had too many eyes, some had no eyes at all, some looked like giant bugs, others looked like walking trees. The air smelled strange, like burning metal mixed with flowers. Taeho wore a simple black suit that looked plain compared to all the shiny armor and flowing clothes. The aliens wore his hand stayed calm at his sides, even though his heart was beating fast. He had practiced this moment for months, but nothing could prepare him for the real thing. The aliens were talking in their own languages, the room filled with clicking sounds, whistles, and deep rumbling noises that made the floor shake. A small device in Taeho's ear turned all these sounds into words he could understand. It was like having 100 different conversations at once. Chancellor Vextar stood up from his throne made of green crystal. The alien leader was 8 feet tall with 4 arms and skin that looked like snake scales. His voice boomed across the room, making everyone go quieter. Human species has exactly 72 Earth hours to give up all your weapons. The Chancellor pointed one of his 4 arms at Taeho. Your weapons are too dangerous. The Senate has voted. Everyone agrees. You must give up your guns, your ships, your bombs, everything. Taeho did not move. He kept his face calm like his grandfather taught him when he was young. Never show fear. His grandfather always said fear makes enemies think they have already won a round. The room alien heads nodded in agreement. The Zephyrians looked like giant butterflies with wings that sparkled in the light. The granite people looked like walking rocks with glowing eyes. The tide speakers lived in water tanks and had tentacles instead of arms. All of them wanted Earth to give up its weapons. We have watched your species for 200 years since we first met you, said the Chancellor. Your people learned to fight too fast. You make weapons that are stronger than ours. Your bombs can destroy whole planets. Your ships can break through our strongest shields, like they are made of paper. Dr. Park Sojin stepped forward next to Taeho. She was Earth's smartest scientist and knew more about alien technology than anyone else on the planet. Her voice was soft, but everyone could hear her clearly. Honorable Chancellor, humanity has never attacked any alien world. We have been peaceful members of this Senate for 50 years. We have followed all the rules. We have helped other species when they asked for help. Commander Vecna laughed. It was a harsh sound like metal scraping against stone. He was from the warrior caste aliens who lived only to fight wars. His body was covered in scars and his armor was black with red markings. Peaceful, he said. You humans fight wars for fun. You have had over 300 wars on your home planet in just the last 100 years. You make weapons not to protect yourselves, but because you love to destroy things. The room exploded with noise again. Every alien seemed to be talking at once. Some were afraid, some were angry, some were excited. The translator and Taeho's ear could barely keep up with all the different voices. You create new ways to kill faster than we can create new ways to protect ourselves, said another alien leader. This one looked like a giant spider with crystal eyes. Your nuclear weapons can turn planets into dust. Your kinetic weapons can punch holes through stars. Your biological weapons can kill entire species. The fear in the room was real. Taeho could feel it. These aliens had lived for thousands of years building their civilizations. They had learned to make wars less deadly to protect life in the galaxy, but then humans came along and changed everything in just 50 years. Since joining the galactic community, humans had developed weapons that scared everyone. The aliens had energy shields that could stop most attacks, but human weapons went right through them. The aliens had armor that could protect against explosions, but human weapons found ways around it. No, you have secret weapons hidden on your planet, continued the Chancellor. We know you have built things in space that we cannot see. We know your species never stops making new ways to fight. Even now while we talk, your people are probably building something new. Taeho finally spoke. His voice was calm and steady like still water. Everyone in the room leaned forward to hear what he would say. We'll think about your request, he said, but you need to understand something about humans. We have survived ice ages that froze our whole planet. We have survived diseases that killed millions of our people. We have survived wars that lasted for years. We survived all of this not because we were the strongest, but because we never gave up. When someone tried to destroy us, the room went completely quiet. Even the machines that kept the air clean stopped making noise. The aliens stared at Taeho with their many different kinds of eyes. If you study human history, you will learn something important, continued Taeho. Every time someone with more power than us told us to surrender, we found a way to win. Every time someone said we were too weak to fight, we proved them wrong. Every time someone said we had no choice, we made our own choice. We made our own choice. Dr. Park Sojin added her voice to Taeho's words. The human spirit does not break easily. When we are cornered, we do not become weak, we become creative. We find solutions that nobody else would think of. Chancellor Vextar shifted on his crystal throne. His forearms moved nervously. This was not going the way he had planned. The humans were supposed to be scared. They were supposed to beg for mercy. Instead, they were talking like they had already won. You had 72 hours, said the Chancellor again. This time his voice was not as strong. Surrender your weapons or we will take them by force. We have assembled the largest fleet in galactic history, over 10,000 ships from 37 different species. Taeho smiled for the first time since entering the room. It was not a happy smile. It was The kind of smile that made smart people nervous. "We will return to Earth and give you our answer in exactly 72 hours, he said. "But remember this, Chancellor, humanity has never started a war. We did not finish." As the human delegation walked out of the crystal chamber, none of the aliens noticed the small device in Dr. Park Seo-jin's hand. It had been recording everything, every word, every threat, every detail about the alien ships. Waiting outside their solar system, the aliens thought they knew everything about human weapons. They had studied human history, human technology, human military tactics, but they had missed the most important thing about humans. They had missed the fact that humans never fought fair when their survival was at stake. Back on Earth, the recording would be analyzed by the smartest military minds humanity had ever produced. They would study every word, every gesture, every hint about alien weaknesses. Within 72 hours, Earth would have an answer, but it would not be the answer the aliens expected. The emergency meeting room deep under the mountains of Colorado was buzzing with activity. President Lee Min-ho sat at the head of a massive round table that could seat 50 people. The room had no windows because it was buried 3 miles underground, where no alien sensors could reach it. Giant screens covered every wall, showing maps of space around Earth. Red dots marked the positions of alien ships gathering like angry wasps around a hive. The dots kept multiplying as more and more alien fleets arrived from across the galaxy. Admiral Choi Hai-won stood next to the biggest screen, pointing at clusters of red dots with a laser pointer. Her uniform was crisp and clean, but her eyes showed she had not slept in 2 days. She had been tracking alien ship movements since the moment they entered the solar system. "The alien fleet is massive," she said to the room full of military leaders. "We are counting over 10,000 ships from 37 different species. They have positioned themselves just past Pluto, waiting for our answer." General Kim Jae-won leaned forward in his chair. His face was covered with scars from the border wars 20 years ago. He had fought aliens before, but never this many at once. "How many ships do we have?" he asked. Choi switched to a different screen showing blue dots around Earth. The difference was shocking. The alien fleet looked like a red ocean, while Earth's defenses looked like tiny blue islands scattered in space. "We have 800 ships in active service, another 300 in the shipyards that could be ready in a week. Our orbital defense platforms number in the thousands, but most of them are designed to stop asteroids, not military fleets." The room fell silent. Everyone knew the numbers were impossible. Even if every human ship was twice as good as every alien ship, they would still be outnumbered more than 10 to 1. Dr. Park Seo-jin activated another screen. This one showed technical drawings of weapons and ships that most people in the room had never seen before. The designs looked strange, even alien compared to normal human technology that aliens know about our surface military bases, she said. "They know about our orbital shipyards. They know about our lunar colonies. They have been watching us for 50 years and they think they know everything about our military capability." She paused and looked around the room at faces that were starting to show hope. "What they do not know about is Project Thunderstorm." Even this room full of the highest-ranking military officers in human space, most people had never heard that name. Project Thunderstorm was so secret that only 12 people on Earth knew it existed. President Lee Min-ho stood up slowly. He was not a tall man, but when he spoke, everyone listened. His voice carried the weight of 8 billion human lives. "The aliens made a mistake when they studied humanity. They looked at our wars, our weapons, our conflicts. They counted our ships and measured our bombs, but they never understood the most important thing about human beings." He gestured toward the screens, showing the alien fleet. "They think we fight because we are aggressive. They think we make weapons because we love violence. They think we are dangerous because we are primitive, but they are wrong about all of it." Engineer Yoon Soo-min stepped forward, carrying a tablet that glowed with classified information. She was the lead scientist on Project Thunderstorm and had spent 10 years of her life preparing for this exact moment. "Humans do not fight because we are violent," she said. "We fight because someone tells us we cannot fight. We do not make weapons because we love war. We make weapons because someone threatens our freedom. We are not dangerous because we are primitive. We are dangerous because we refuse to stay primitive." The tablet in her hands showed videos of weapons tests that had been conducted in the deepest parts of space where no alien sensors could detect them. Explosions that made nuclear bombs look like firecrackers, projectiles that moved faster than anything in the known galaxy, ships that could appear and disappear like ghosts. "Alien fleets are powerful," continued Engineer Yoon. "Their energy shields can stop our conventional weapons. Their armor can survive direct hits from our biggest bombs. Their sensors can track our fastest ships. But all of their technology is based on fighting enemies who think like they do." Dr. Park Seo-jin took over the presentation. The next screen showed detailed analysis of alien ship designs gathered over 50 years of peaceful contacts. "Every alien species in that fleet has been fighting wars for thousands of years. They have perfected the art of space combat. They know exactly how to defend against energy weapons, kinetic projectiles, and even exotic matter attacks. But they have never faced anything like what we have prepared." The screen changed to show something that looked impossible, a weapon that seemed to exist and not exist at the same time, a ship that was solid and transparent simultaneously. "Technology that appeared to break the basic laws of physics." "Human creativity does not just solve problems," said Dr. Park. "It redefines what problems are." possible to solve. While the aliens spent centuries perfecting their existing technology, we spent 50 years learning to think in ways they never imagined. Ambassador Tejo, who had returned from the alien Senate just hours before, spoke for the first time since entering the room. I looked into the eyes of every alien leader in that chamber. He said, "They are afraid, but not of our weapons. They are afraid of what our weapons represent. They are afraid that we will make their entire military doctrine obsolete in the next 50 years, the way we made it obsolete in the last 50 years. General Kim Jae-won studied the weapon specifications on his personal tablet. These designs showed technology that was decades ahead of anything he had seen in his 30-year military career. "How long have we been preparing for this?" he asked. President Lee Min-ho smiled. It was not a happy smile, but it was confident. "We have been preparing for this since the day we first met aliens in space. The moment we learned there were other species out there with weapons we could not match, we started working on weapons they could not match. Engineer you," and pulled up historical documents showing the real timeline of human space development. Every peaceful trade mission was also an intelligence-gathering operation. Every cultural exchange included military observers. Every joint scientific project taught us more about alien weaknesses. We have been studying them for 50 years while they thought we were just making friends. The room erupted in quiet conversations as military leaders began to understand the scope of what had been hidden from them. Project Thunderstorm was not just a weapons program, it was a complete reimagining of how wars could be fought in space. Admiral Choi Hai-won looked at the alien fleet positions one more time. "So, what do we tell them?" she asked President Lee. Min-ho walked to the center of the room where everyone could see him clearly. "We tell them exactly what they need to hear. We tell them that humanity refuses their ultimatum. We tell them that Earth will not surrender its weapons. We tell them that if they want to disarm us, they will have to try to take our weapons by force." He paused and looked at each person in the room. "And then we show them why that would be the biggest mistake in galactic history." The vote was quick and unanimous. Earth would reject the alien ultimatum, but more than that, Earth would demonstrate to the galaxy that humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through diplomacy or trade, but through the one thing that had always defined the human species, the absolute refusal to surrender when cornered. Within hours, the message would be transmitted to the alien fleet. The countdown to humanity's greatest test would begin, and somewhere in the depths of space, Project Thunderstorm would finally reveal what 50 years of human ingenuity could accomplish when survival was at stake. The 72 hours passed like a slow countdown to the end of the world. Chancellor Vextar stood on the bridge of his massive command ship, Eternal Dominion, staring at the blue dot that was Earth in the distance. His forearms were crossed as he waited for the human response that never came. The silence from Earth was driving him crazy. Every other species in galactic history had responded to ultimatums either with surrender or defiance, but the humans had simply gone quiet. Their communication channels were open, but no messages came through. It was like they had all just disappeared. "Sir, we are receiving no response from the human homeworld," reported his communications officer. "The deadline has passed. What are your orders?" Chan looked around his bridge at officers from a dozen different species. All of them were waiting for his command. The largest military fleet in galactic history was under his control. 10,000 ships carrying enough firepower to sterilize 100 worlds. "Begin the advance," he said finally. All fleets moved to attack positions around the human solar system. The armada began to move forward like a slow avalanche of metal and energy. Sleek Zephyrian attack ships darted between massive granite collective battlecruisers. The biomechanical vessels of the hive mind pulsed with organic weapons, while crystalline ships of the resonance threw rainbow patterns across the darkness of space. Captain Wex Kor commanded a squadron of Zephyrian dart ships on the outer edge of the fleet. His species had fought in more space battles than any other in the galaxy. They were natural pilots with reflexes faster than most computers, but something about this advance felt wrong to him. "The humans are too quiet," he told his bridge crew. "Where are their defense fleets? Why are they not challenging us at the edge of their territory?" His tactical officer, a young Zephyrian named Kilera, checked her senses again. "We are detecting minimal human activity around their homeworld. A few dozen ships have deployed from their orbital facilities, but nothing compared to our numbers." Captain Wex Kor had studied human military history during the long flight to Earth. He knew about their battles against impossible odds. The humans had a disturbing habit of winning fights they should have lost. They never seemed to understand when they were beaten. "Maybe they finally learned wisdom," suggested his weapons officer. "They must see that resistance is hopeless against our combined might." But Wex Kor was not convinced. He had read about human battles where small forces had defeated much larger armies. The Battle of Thermopylae, where 300 Spartans held off thousands. The Warsaw Ghetto, where civilians fought trained soldiers. The Tet Offensive, where guerrillas challenged a superpower. Humans did not think like other species when cornered. They did not calculate odds or consider surrender. They became creative, and creativity was dangerous. The alien fleet crossed the orbit of Neptune without encountering any resistance. Human ships were visible on long-range sensors, but they seemed to be withdrawing toward their homeworld. It looked like a fighting retreat, but the numbers were all wrong. "Where the rest of their ships?" asked Commander Theknal from his flagship. "Our intelligence reports indicated they had over 800 combat vessels. The humans only had about 50 ships." Visible in space, most of them were small frigates and destroyers. Nothing that could threaten the massive alien dreadnoughts leading the HFY fleet past the orbit of Uranus. The first signs of human activity appeared. Small objects detached from the human ships and began accelerating toward the Galactic Armada. They were moving much faster than conventional missiles. Incoming projectiles, announced the sensor operator on Chancellor Vextar's bridge. Estimated impact in 4 minutes. The objects were tiny compared to the alien ships, but they were moving at incredible speed, faster than anything in the galactic database of known weapons. Defensive fire, ordered Commander Vex. Now, all ships engaged the incoming missiles. The space between the two fleets lit up like a deadly fireworks display. Thousands of energy beams and plasma bursts reached out to destroy the human projectiles. The aliens had fought countless space battles and knew exactly how to defend against missile attacks. Most of the human weapons were destroyed in the defensive barrage, but several dozen got through the screen of fire. They were small and fast and seemed to dance around the alien weapons like they knew where the shots were going to be. Then something happened that broke every rule of space combat. The aliens knew surviving human projectiles reached the alien fleet and struck the energy shields protecting the ships, but instead of exploding or bouncing off the shields, the weapons passed right through them as if the shields were not even there. The projectiles, it struck the hulls of 17 alien ships with devastating effect. Explosions rippled across armor that was supposed to be impenetrable. Atmosphere vented into space as hull breaches opened like wounds. Impossible, shouted the Granite Collective commander from his massive battlecruiser. Nothing can penetrate our shield matrix. Our defenses are perfect, but the humans had done exactly that. Their weapons had ignored the most advanced defensive technology in the galaxy. Commander Vex now stared at his tactical display showing damage reports from across the fleet. How is this possible? He demanded. Our shields can stop energy weapons, kinetic projectiles, even exotic matter attacks. Captain Wexcore was studying the sensor data from his own ship. The human weapons had registered on their sensors right up until the moment they hit the shields. Then, for exactly 0.3 of a second, they had vanished completely before reappearing inside the defensive barrier. They are not attacking our shields, he said slowly. They are going around them somehow. Chancellor Vextar felt the first cold touch of fear in his chest. The humans had developed something completely new, something that made the most advanced alien technology useless. Get me a full analysis of those weapons, he ordered, and find out how many more they have. The answer came back within minutes, and it was not good. The humans had fired less than 1% of their available projectiles. The small ships visible on sensors were carrying enough of these shield-penetrating weapons to cripple the entire alien fleet. But that was not the worst news. Long-range sensors are detecting massive movement in the asteroid belt, reported the sensor operator. Objects are changing course and accelerating toward our positioning. The main display, dozens of large objects that had been sitting motionless in the asteroid belt, were suddenly moving. They were accelerating slowly but with purpose and precision straight toward the alien fleet. Those are asteroids, said someone on the bridge, but asteroids do not move by themselves. Captain Wexcore enhanced the sensor image of the nearest moving object. What he saw made his blood run cold. The asteroid had been hollowed out and fitted with massive engines. Weapons ports were opening along its surface like the eyes of some ancient monster. The humans have turned their entire asteroid belt into a weapon, he whispered. The objects were not just asteroids, they were weapons platforms, each one the size of a city, each one carrying enough kinetic energy to destroy a dozen ships, each one guided by human intelligence and human determination. Commander Vex realized with growing horror that the humans had not been retreating. They had been drawing the alien fleet into a trap. The entire solar system was a fortress, and the aliens had flown straight into the middle of it. Chancellor Vextar watched the tactical display as more and more threats appeared around his fleet. The humans had not built a traditional defense. They had turned their entire home system into the most dangerous weapon the galaxy had ever seen. Signal the fleet, he ordered. All ships prepare for full combat. The humans want a war, but even as he gave the order, he knew they had made a terrible mistake. The humans had not wanted this war, but now that it was here, they were going to fight it in ways the galaxy had never imagined. Deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, in a laboratory that did not exist on any official records, Dr. Song Hyen was watching her life work change the course of galactic history. The screens around her showed the battle raging in space above, but her attention was focused on the quantum readings from her experimental weapons. 3 years ago, she had been studying alien shield technology, trying to understand how energy barriers could be so effective. The alien shields were perfect examples of advanced physics using quantum fields to repel both matter and energy. But Dr. Song had noticed something that millions of alien scientists had missed over thousands of years. The shields work by creating a quantum barrier. She had explained to her small team of researchers the barrier exists in normal spacetime and repels anything that tries to pass through it. But what if we could make our weapons exist outside normal spacetime for just a moment? Her breakthrough had come from studying human quantum mechanics, research that had advanced rapidly in the past 50 years. While alien civilizations had perfected energy-based weapons and defenses over millions of years, humans had only encountered these technologies recently. This meant human scientists approached the problems with completely fresh thinking. The solution was elegant in its simplicity. Human weapons would be equipped with quantum phase shifters that could move objects in and out of normal spacetime for exactly 0.3 of a second. A projectile could exist in a parallel quantum dimension completely invisible to alien sensors and shields. Disarm watched her tactical display as the first wave of phase shift missiles struck the alien fleet. Each weapon had followed the same pattern: accelerate toward the target, maintain normal spacetime until the moment of shield contact, shift into parallel dimension for 0.3 of a second, pass through the shield barrier, shift back to normal spacetime, and deliver payload. 17 alien ships had been damaged in the first attack, and the alien fleet was in chaos. Their most advanced defensive technology had been rendered useless by human creativity. Phase shift weapons are performing perfectly, she reported to the command center buried in Colorado. All targets hit, shields penetrated, no weapon malfunctions detected. But the phase shift technology was only the beginning of Project Thunderstorm. The real surprise was about to be revealed. Park Young-soo was positioned in the asteroid belt aboard a command ship that looked like just another piece of space rock. His ship was hidden inside a hollowed-out asteroid that had been converted into the most powerful weapons platform humanity had ever built. Around him, dozens of similar asteroid fortresses were activating their systems. Each one had been secretly constructed over the past 10 years using mining equipment and construction robots that the aliens had dismissed as harmless industrial activity. The asteroid belt contains billions of tons of raw material, Captain Park reported to Earth Command. We have converted 47 asteroids into kinetic weapons platforms. Each platform masses approximately 50 million tons and is equipped with fusion drive systems. The concept was uniquely human. While other species had always sought to build ships that could maneuver and fight in space, humans had realized that the asteroid belt itself could be turned into the ultimate weapon. Asteroids did not need to be fast or maneuverable, they just needed to be aimed correctly and accelerated to sufficient velocity. Physics was simple. A 50 million ton asteroid moving at high speed carried more kinetic energy than the largest nuclear weapons in the galactic arsenal, and unlike conventional weapons, asteroids were virtually impossible to destroy completely. Even if alien weapons broke them apart, the fragments would continue toward their targets. Captain Park activated the Doctor systems on his asteroid fortress. The massive fusion engines built deep inside the rock began to push the asteroid toward the alien fleet. It would take time to build up speed, but when it arrived, nothing in the alien fleet would be able to stop it. The aliens are detecting our movement, he reported. They know the asteroids are artificial, but they do not yet understand what we have done. Meanwhile, in the outer solar system, Admiral Choi Haiwan was preparing to reveal the third component of Project Thunderstorm from her command ship orbiting Neptune. She could see the alien fleet beginning to panic as they realized the scope of the trap they had entered. The alien fleet is trying to maintain formation, she reported to the Global Command Center, but they are facing threats from multiple directions. Our phase shift missiles are attacking from the front, our asteroid weapons are converging from the belt, and we still have not revealed our primary defensive system. The primary defensive system was the most closely guarded secret in human military history for 15 years. Human engineers had been working on a project that would make conventional space warfare obsolete. Engineer Yoon Sumin activated the final component of Project Thunderstorm from a control station on Luna. Across the solar system, hundreds of installations that had been disguised as communication arrays and scientific instruments began to power up. Quantum disruption field generators are online, she announced. The entire solar system is now enclosed in a controlled quantum barrier. The quantum disruption field was the ultimate expression of human defensive thinking. Instead of trying to build better shields or stronger armor, humans had found a way to control the fundamental forces of spacetime itself. Any alien ship trying to use faster-than-light travel within the solar system would find their engines simply did not work. The quantum field disrupted the exotic matter reactions that powered alien star drives, effectively trapping the entire enemy fleet in normal space. The aliens had brought 10,000 ships to intimidate humanity, but now those ships were stuck in the Sol system, unable to retreat, unable to call for reinforcements, unable to escape the consequences of their ultimatum. Chancellor Vexter realized the trap as his navigation officer reported that their jump drives were not responding. The humans had turned their entire solar system into a prison. The alien fleet could fight, but they could not run on Earth's. President Lee Min-ho watched the tactical displays showing alien ships scattered across the solar system. Some were trying to regroup, others were attempting to flee toward the edge of the system. All of them were failing to understand that they were no longer fighting a conventional space battle. The aliens came here to disarm us, he said to the Emergency Council. They wanted to take away our weapons because they feared what we might build, but they never understood that our greatest weapon was never our technology. Park Sojin nodded in agreement. Our greatest weapon has always been our ability to see problems differently. While they spent thousands of years perfecting conventional warfare, We spent 50 years learning to make conventional warfare irrelevant. The battle was far from over, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. The aliens had superior numbers, superior technology, and thousands of years of combat experience, but they were fighting an enemy that refused to follow the rules of engagement. They understood humanity had turned their entire solar system into a weapon that operated on principles the galaxy had never seen. The phase shift technology made alien shields useless. The asteroid fortresses made conventional space tactics meaningless. The quantum disruption field made retreat impossible. The aliens had come to Earth expecting to face a primitive species with crude weapons. Instead, they found themselves trapped in a carefully planned demonstration of what human creativity could accomplish when survival was at stake. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity did not just make weapons, they made entirely new ways of thinking about what weapons could be. The battle for humanity's independence lasted exactly 6 hours and 13 minutes, but the shockwaves from those 6 hours would reshape galactic civilization for the next 1,000 years. The mighty alien armada that had seemed invincible at the edge of the solar system was now scattered, broken, and begging for mercy. Admiral Choi Hai-wan stood in the command center on Luna, watching the tactical displays that showed the aftermath of humanity's greatest victory. Red dots representing alien ships were fleeing toward the outer edges of the solar system. Those that could still move were trying desperately to escape the quantum disruption field that kept them trapped. The alien casualties were staggering. Over 3,000 ships had been destroyed or damaged beyond repair. The asteroid weapons had proven devastatingly effective. Each 50 million-ton projectile that struck an alien vessel released enough kinetic energy to vaporize everything within a kilometer. The phase shift missiles had penetrated shields that were supposed to be impenetrable, leaving alien commanders wondering if their most basic understanding of physics was wrong. Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the alien command ship, reported Lieutenant Nam Jiahan from his communications station. Chancellor Vexstar is requesting immediate ceasefire. Admiral Choi looked around the command center at the faces of her staff. They had spent years preparing for this moment, but none of them had expected such a complete victory. The aliens were not just defeated, they were terrified. To put him through, she ordered. The main screen flickered to life, showing Chancellor Vexter on the bridge of his damaged command ship. Two of his forearms hung uselessly at his sides, and his reptilian face showed an expression that humans would recognize as shock and disbelief. Admiral Choi, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, we request immediate cessation of hostilities. We did not understand. We were wrong about your species. Admiral Choi kept her expression neutral, even though inside she felt like cheering. The most powerful military force in galactic history was surrendering to Earth. You came here to disarm us, Chancellor, she said calmly. You brought 10,000 ships to force us to give up our weapons. What changed your mind, Chancellor? Vexter looked around his bridge at the damage reports flowing in from across his fleet. Nearly 1/3 of his ships were gone. Another third were too damaged to fight. The remainder were trapped in the human solar system with no way to escape your weapons, he said finally. We studied your technology for 50 years. We thought we understood your capabilities, but you have shown us weapons we never imagined possible. How do your missiles pass through our shields? How do you move asteroids like they are ships? How do you control the fundamental forces of space-time itself? Admiral Choi smiled for the first time since the battle began. That is the difference between your species and mine, Chancellor. You perfect existing technology. We invent completely new technology. You build better shields. We build weapons that ignore shields entirely. The truth was even more impressive than the aliens realized. That humans had not just developed new weapons, they had developed entirely new ways of thinking about warfare. While alien military doctrine had remained essentially unchanged for thousands of years, human military thinking had evolved at an incredible pace. Park Sojin appeared on another screen from her laboratory deep beneath the Himalayas. The quantum phase shift technology you witness today represents just one branch of human research. We have been working on projects that would make today's demonstration look primitive. She paused to let that sink in before continuing. The galaxy feared our weapons, but what you should have feared was our isolation. When humans work alone, we are dangerous. When humans work together, we become unstoppable. President Lee Min-ho joined the conversation from the Emergency Command Center in Colorado. His face appeared on the third screen, creating a conference between the human leadership and the defeated alien commander. Chancellor Vexstar, you made a fundamental error in your assessment of humanity. You assumed that because we are a young species, we would be weak. You assumed that because we had fewer ships, we would be helpless. You assumed that because we were outnumbered, we would surrender. The president gestured toward displays showing the continuing exodus of alien ships from the solar system, but you forgot the most important lesson of human history. We do not surrender when we are outnumbered. We get creative. We do not give up when the odds are against us. We change what the odds mean. Over the following weeks, the galaxy watched in amazement as the aftermath of the battle unfolded. The Galactic Senate not only withdrew their demand for human disarmament, but officially recognized Earth as a sovereign military power with the right to defend itself however it saw fit. More Importantly, they invited humanity to share their defensive innovations with other species that faced threats from aggressive neighbors. The phase shift technology was offered freely to worlds that had been bullied by stronger civilizations. The asteroid fortress concept was adapted for use around vulnerable planets. Star Song Hye-in found herself appointed as the first director of Galactic Defense Technology. Her laboratory beneath the Himalayas became the center of a new kind of scientific cooperation. Human engineers began working alongside alien researchers to develop defensive systems that made the entire galaxy safer. The quantum disruption field technology was shared with species that needed to protect their star systems from invasion. Worlds that had lived in fear of powerful neighbors suddenly found themselves able to create impenetrable defenses. Captain Park Young-soo was promoted to admiral and given command of the new Galactic Defense Initiative. His asteroid fortresses became the model for a new type of defensive installation that could be built in any star system with sufficient raw materials. But the real change was not in technology, it was in how the galaxy viewed humanity. Before the battle, humans had been seen as aggressive primitives who needed to be controlled. After the battle, humans were seen as the most creative problem solvers in known space. Tae-ho addressed the reformed Galactic Senate 6 months after the battle. The chamber that had once demanded human surrender was now eager to hear what humanity had to offer. The galaxy tried to disarm us because you feared our weapons, he said to the assembled alien representatives, but our weapons were never our greatest strength. Our greatest strength was our refusal to accept defeat. When our survival was threatened, he looked around the chamber at faces that now showed respect instead of fear. You have learned something important about humanity. We do not fight because we love violence, we fight because we love freedom. We do not make weapons because we want to conquer, we make weapons because we refuse to be conquered. The applause that followed was genuine. Representatives from species that had demanded human surrender were now applauding human courage. The galaxy had learned that humanity could be a powerful ally but should never again be treated as an enemy. President Lee Min-ho delivered the final speech in what became known as the Earth Address. It was broadcast across the galaxy and became required reading in military academies on 100 worlds. You tried to disarm humanity because you feared what we might build, he said, but you should have tried to understand us instead. You should have learned that humans are not dangerous because we are violent. We are dangerous because we refuse to give up. He paused and looked directly into the camera that was broadcasting his words across the galaxy. From this day forward, let the galaxy remember that humanity earned its place among the stars, not through diplomacy or trade, but through our absolute determination to remain free. And let every species know that we will share our innovations freely with those who respect our right to exist as equals. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humanity would never again face demands to surrender their weapons. Instead, they would be asked to help defend the weak and protect the innocent. The phrase human solution became shorthand throughout the galaxy for finding creative answers to impossible problems, and in the deep laboratories and research stations scattered across human space, work continued on projects that would make the phase shift technology and asteroid fortresses look like children's toys, because humanity had learned something too. They had learned that the best way to prevent future wars was to be so overwhelmingly prepared for them that no one would ever be foolish enough to start one. The galaxy was safer because humanity refused to be disarmed, and humanity was stronger because they had proven they deserved their place among the stars.